Welcome to another deep dive, everyone. Today, we're heading to a place I've always wanted to visit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Niagara Falls. I mean, who hasn't dreamt of seeing that massive wall of water in person?
It's definitely on a lot of bucket lists, and for good reason.
It's like one of those iconic natural wonders that you just have to see to believe.
Right up there with the Grand Canyon and the Northern Lights.
Exactly. And today we're going to, dive deep into everything Niagara Falls.
The history, the geology, the culture, the daredevils.
Oh yeah, all the crazy stunts people have pulled over the years.
It's a place that's captured the imagination for centuries.
And we're going to cover it all, so get ready for a wild ride because we're about to plunge headfirst into the world of Niagara Falls.
Love it.
So to kick things off,
Yeah.
let's just set the scene for a second.
Okay.
Imagine standing at the edge of the falls, feeling the mist on your face and the ground tremble beneath your feet.
The roar is deafening, almost like a constant thunder.
And then you see this massive curtain of water plummeting over the edge.
Millions of gallons every second.
It's just mind-blowing. And here's a little fact that might surprise you. Niagara Falls is constantly moving.
Really?
Yeah, it erodes about a foot each year. So it's slowly but surely changing the landscape.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
It is. So to understand how this incredible force of nature came to be, we need to go back in time, way back to the last ice age.
Okay, so we're talking glaciers.
Oh yeah, massive glaciers, miles thick, carving out the landscape.
Creating the Great Lakes.
And the Niagara Escarpment.
So these glaciers, they were like giant bulldozers shaping the world as we know it.
Exactly, and as they melted, the water flowed northward, eventually finding its path over the escarpment.
And boom, Niagara Falls was born.
It's mind-boggling to think about the scale of those glaciers.
It really is, and to think that the landscape we see today is a result of that ancient ice.
It's a pretty amazing legacy. And speaking of legacies, Niagara Falls isn't just one waterfall, is it?
Nope, there are actually 3 distinct waterfalls that make up Niagara Falls.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you've got Horseshoe Falls.
Okay. American Falls and Bridal Veil Falls.
So 3 completely separate waterfalls.
Each with its own unique character and size.
Wow. Okay, so let's break those down a little bit because I have to admit I'm a little lost now.
Sure, no problem. So Horseshoe Falls is the largest and most iconic.
The one that's shaped like a horseshoe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's on the Canadian side, and it's where the majority of the water flows over.
Makes sense. And what about American Falls?
American Falls is, well, on the American side.
Okay.
It's known for its powerful straight drop.
And Bridal Veil Falls.
Bridal Veil Falls is the smallest of the 3, kind of tucked away between Horseshoe and American Falls.
Oh, interesting. So you can see all 3 falls from both the U.S. and Canada.
You got it. It's like 2 countries sharing one incredible natural wonder.
And each country gets its own waterfall.
Sort of, although Horseshoe Falls is definitely the star of the show.
Okay, so we've got these 3 amazing waterfalls, each with its own personality.
And a ton of water flowing over them.
Like, how much water are we talking about here? We'll get ready for this. Over 3,160 tons of water crash over the crest every second.
Every second.
That's enough to fill 1 million bathtubs.
1 million bathtubs. That's just insane.
And that's just an average day. Imagine during peak flow.
I can't even fathom it. So all that water plunging over the falls, it must create some serious power.
You're telling me it's like Mother Nature's own hydroelectric plant?
And speaking of hydroelectric power, Niagara Falls has actually been harnessed to generate electricity for over a century.
Oh, yeah, that's a fascinating story.
It is. So in the early 1900s, engineers figured out how to tap into the power of the falls.
To create one of the first large-scale hydroelectric power stations in the world.
And today it provides clean, renewable energy for millions of homes in both the U.S. and Canada.
It's a pretty amazing example of how we can work with nature to meet our energy needs.
So Niagara Falls is not just a pretty face, it's a powerhouse in more ways than one.
Absolutely. And it's a reminder that sometimes the most breathtaking beauty can also be incredibly practical.
Now, I don't know about you, but all this talk about waterfalls is making me want to get up close and personal with Niagara Falls.
Me too. And luckily, there are some pretty incredible ways to experience the falls firsthand.
Like the Maid of the Mist boat tour.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
Imagine cruising right into the base of the falls.
Feeling the mist on your face and the roar vibrating through your entire body.
And they give you those ponchos for a reason, right?
Oh yeah, you will get soaked, but it's all part of the fun.
So you're on this boat getting up close to the falls.
And then you head right into the heart of Horseshoe Falls.
Into the mist.
It's like sailing into a cloud.
And all you can see is this wall of white water.
And hear the deafening roar of the
That
falls.
sounds intense.
It is, but it's also incredibly exhilarating.
Like one of those once-in-a-lifetime experiences.
Exactly. It's a chance to truly feel the power of nature.
So the Maid of the Mist is definitely on my Niagara Falls bucket list.
For sure, it's a must-do.
But what if you want to get even closer to the action?
Well, then you have to try the Cave of the Winds experience.
The Cave of the Winds. That sounds intriguing.
It is. You basically descend 175 feet into the Niagara Gorge.
Into the gorge?
Yep. And then you follow a series of wooden walkways that lead you closer and closer to Bridal Veil Falls.
So you're at the bottom of the gorge looking up at the falls.
It's a completely different perspective, and it's amazing.
Like you're probably getting drenched.
Oh, yeah. The wind and spray are intense. It's like walking into a tropical storm.
Wow. So you've got the Maid of the Mist, which takes you close to the falls from the water,
And then the Cave of the Winds, which takes you close to the falls from below.
both offering unique and unforgettable experiences.
Exactly. And both will leave you completely awestruck by the power of Niagara Falls.
And probably a little bit wet.
Definitely, but hey, that's all part of the adventure, right?
Absolutely. Now, I know we've been focusing a lot on the natural wonders of Niagara Falls.
Yeah. Which are pretty hard to top, to be fair.
They are, but Niagara Falls isn't just about the waterfalls. It's also a place with a rich history and culture.
You're right. It's been a source of inspiration for artists and a destination for honeymooners for centuries.
Speaking of honeymooners, Niagara Falls is known as the honeymoon capital of the world, right?
It is. That tradition dates back to the early 1800s when Aaron Burr's daughter honeymooned there.
Aaron Burr, the guy from Hamilton.
The one and only.
So his daughter's honeymoon kind of kicked off this whole Niagara Falls honeymoon craze.
You could say that, and it's stuck ever since.
I mean, it's easy to see why it's such a romantic and iconic location.
The mist, the roar, the rainbows, it's all very magical and memorable.
And let's not forget the glamorous side of Niagara Falls.
Oh yeah, Hollywood has definitely left its mark on the falls.
Marilyn Monroe filmed a movie there, right?
She did Niagara in 1953.
Which helped solidify the falls image as a glamorous and exciting destination.
And there have been countless other movies and TV shows that have featured Niagara Falls over the years.
It's a place that just keeps popping up in popular culture.
Because it's iconic, it's instantly recognizable, and it represents something bigger than ourselves.
The power of nature, the allure of adventure, the promise of romance.
It's all there at Niagara Falls.
So we've got natural wonders, we've got history, we've got culture. What else could Niagara Falls possibly offer?
Well, believe it or not, there's a whole other side to Niagara Falls that's a little more laid back and sophisticated.
You mean like wineries and fine dining?
Exactly. We're talking about Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Niagara-on-the-Lake, I've heard it's beautiful.
It is. It's a charming little town located just a short drive from the falls.
So it's like a peaceful escape from the hustle and bustle of the main tourist area.
Exactly. It's a place to slow down, savor the moment, and indulge in some of the finer things in life.
Like wine.
Especially wine. Niagara-on-the-Lake is in the heart of Ontario's wine country.
I had no idea.
Yep, and it's become renowned for its cool climate varietals.
So we're talking like Riesling, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay.
All that and more, there are over 20 wineries dotting the landscape around Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Wow, so you can go from experiencing the raw power of the falls to sipping wine in a picturesque vineyard.
All in the same day.
That's pretty incredible.
Niagara really does offer the best of both worlds.
So Niagara-on-the-Lake, it's like a little slice of heaven just a stone's throw from Niagara Falls.
It's a place to relax, unwind, and maybe even try some ice wine.
Ice wine.
Oh yeah, Niagara's famous for its ice wine.
I've heard of it, but I'm not really sure what it is.
Well, it's a dessert wine made from grapes that are frozen on the vine.
Frozen grapes.
Yep, it's a very labor-intensive process, but the result is a sweet and complex wine that's unlike anything you've ever tasted.
That sounds interesting. I'm definitely going to have to try some when we get to the tasting portion of our trip.
Oh, you won't regret it.
So we've got the falls, the charming town, the wine I'm already sold on Niagara Falls.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
There's so much more to discover, and we're just getting started.
So buckle up, because our Niagara Falls adventure is just beginning. Okay, so we've covered the falls, the town, the wine. What about the food?
Oh, yeah, we can't forget about the food.
Because every great trip needs some good eats.
Absolutely. What's the local specialty?
Well, when in Niagara, you have to try the beef on weck.
Beef on weck. What is that?
It's a regional classic, kind of like a roast beef sandwich, but with a twist.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's the twist?
The roll? It's a kummelweck roll.
Kummelweck?
Yeah, it's topped with these coarse salt and caraway seeds, gives it this unique, savory flavor.
And a nice crunch, I bet.
Exactly. So you've got this flavorful roll piled high with thin slices of roast beef.
Oh, man. And usually served with horseradish and, just for dipping.
It makes my mouth water just thinking about it.
So where can we find this beef on weck masterpiece?
There are a couple of places you gotta check out. Charlie the Butcher's Kitchen is a local institution.
Okay, good to know.
And then there's Schwabel's, another classic spot known for their beef on weck.
All right, so beef on weck is on the must-try list.
For sure, it's a Niagara Falls staple.
So we've got the falls, the town, the wine, the food. What are those picture-perfect moments?
Ah, yes, capturing the magic of Niagara Falls.
Because we're going to want to share those memories with everyone back home.
Of course. So when it comes to photography, there are a few spots you don't want to miss.
Okay, lay them on me.
First up, Prospect Point on the American side.
Prospect Point, got it. What's so special about it?
It gives you these amazing panoramic views of all three falls.
All three?
Yep. And if you're lucky, you might catch a rainbow or two artsing over the water.
Oh, that would be incredible.
It's especially magical at sunrise.
Sunrise, got it. So we're waking up early to catch those golden hour shots.
Worth it, trust me.
Okay, Prospect Point at sunrise. Check. Any other must-visit photo spots?
Absolutely. For a more dramatic perspective, head to Terrapin Point on Goat Island.
Terrapin Point. Okay.
It's on the American side too, and it offers these stunning views of Horseshoe Falls.
I bet those photos are amazing.
Especially during golden hour as the sun sets.
So both sunrise and sunset are prime time for Niagara Falls photography.
Exactly. The light is just magical at those times of day.
So we've got Prospect Point for sunrise, Terrapin Point for sunset. Any hidden gems we should know about?
Well, if you're looking for a unique photo op, don't forget about the Rainbow Bridge.
The Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah. It's not just a border crossing, it also offers fantastic views of both the American and Horseshoe Falls.
Oh, wow. With the skylines of both countries in the background.
Exactly. It's a pretty cool perspective.
So the Rainbow Bridge, it's practical and picturesque.
Two birds, one stone.
Love it.
Yeah.
Any tips for actually taking good photos? Because, I'm not exactly a professional photographer.
Well, first and foremost, be prepared for the mist.
Oh, yeah, the mist, it's everywhere.
So bring a waterproof camera cover or at least a microfiber cloth to keep your lens clear.
Good tip, because I've definitely ruined a few photos with a foggy lens.
And then don't be afraid to experiment with different shutter speeds.
Okay, so faster shutter speeds freeze the action.
Right, and slower shutter speeds create that silky, smooth water effect.
Oh, I love that look. It's so dreamy.
It is. Just play around and see what works best for you.
Great advice.
Okay.
So we've got our photo spots, we've got our gear. We're ready to capture those Niagara Falls memories.
You got it. Just remember to take some time to put the camera down and just soak it all in.
That's important. It's easy to get caught up in trying to get the perfect shot.
But sometimes the best memories are the ones you experience with your own eyes.
And your heart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So take it all in, the sights, the sounds, the smells, the feeling of being surrounded by this incredible force of nature.
Because that's what Niagara Falls is all about.
It's an experience that will stay with you long after you've left.
All right, so we've talked about the falls, the town, the food, the photos. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty of planning a trip to Niagara Falls.
Okay, so first things first, timing is everything.
Timing,
Yep, peak season is June to August.
when the weather is the warmest.
Right, but it also means bigger crowds and higher prices.
That makes sense. What about the shoulder seasons?
May and September are great options.
Still decent weather, but fewer crowds.
Exactly.
And what about the off-season, like winter?
Niagara Falls in winter is a totally different experience, but it can be just as magical.
Oh yeah, with the ice formations and frozen landscape.
Exactly. It's like stepping into a winter wonderland.
But definitely gotta bundle up.
Oh yeah, it gets cold. But if you don't mind the chill, it's a great time to visit.
So there's really no bad time to visit Niagara Falls.
It just depends on what you're looking for.
All right, so we've figured out our timing. What about transportation?
Well, parking can be a hassle and expensive near the falls.
So what do you suggest?
If you're staying close by, walking is always a good option.
Okay,
Or you can take advantage of the shuttle services that operate in the area.
makes sense. And if we're planning to visit both the U.S. and Canadian sides.
Remember to factor in some extra time for border crossings,
Oh yeah, good point, because those lines can get pretty long.
especially during peak season.
So we've got our transportation sorted. What about all the different attractions and tours?
Well, both the US and Canadian sides offer attraction packages that can save you money.
Oh, it's good to know.
On the US side, there's the Niagara Falls USA Discovery Pass.
Uh-huh.
And on the Canadian side, there's the Adventure Pass Canada.
So if you're planning to do multiple attractions, these passes are the way to go.
Exactly. It's definitely worth checking those out.
All right, so we've covered timing, transportation, attractions. What else do we need to know?
Well, one thing to keep in mind is that Niagara Falls is constantly changing.
Oh yeah, we talked about the erosion earlier.
Right. So the falls we see today aren't exactly in the same spot as they were centuries ago.
That's pretty wild to think about.
It is. The power of nature is constantly shaping and reshaping our world.
So we're basically witnessing a moment in time.
Exactly. And that makes it even more special.
And speaking of power, let's talk about the hydroelectric power generation at Niagara Falls.
Oh, yeah. That's a fascinating aspect of the falls.
So how exactly do they harness the energy of the falls?
Well, they basically divert water from the Niagara River through a series of tunnels and canals.
Okay.
And that water flows into these massive power plants.
And what happens in the power plants?
The Russian water spins turbines, which are connected to generators.
And that's what creates the electricity.
Get go. It's a pretty incredible process.
It is, and it's a clean and renewable source of energy.
Which is a huge bonus.
Absolutely. So Niagara Falls, it's a natural wonder. It's a source of inspiration. It's a powerhouse. It's a testament to human ingenuity.
It's all of those things and more.
It's a place that truly has it all.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
There's so much more to explore and experience at Niagara Falls.
So stay tuned because our journey continues. Okay, so where were we?
I think we were about to uncover some more hidden gems.
Right, because Niagara Falls is full of surprises.
Okay, I'm ready for more. What else do you have up your sleeve?
Well, if you want to see the raw power of Niagara before it plunges over the falls, you gotta check out the Three Sisters Islands.
The Three Sisters Islands. I've never heard of those.
They're a group of small islands just above Horseshoe Falls.
Oh, wow. So you get to see the rapids up close.
Exactly. It's like a sneak peek at the power that's about to be unleashed.
I bet the energy there is incredible.
It is. And the best part is they're often overlooked by tourists.
Oh, so it's like a little hidden oasis.
Exactly. You can escape the crowds and enjoy some peace and quiet while taking in those amazing views.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
So, Three Sisters Islands, check. What about the art scene?
Ah, yes. Niagara Falls has inspired countless artists over the years.
I can imagine painters, poets, musicians.
All of them drawn to the beauty and power of the falls.
Any particular works of art we should check out?
Well, Hudson River School artists in the 19th century, they captured the grandeur of the falls in their paintings.
Oh yeah, those romantic landscapes.
Exact. Those are definitely worth seeing.
What about literature? Any good Niagara Falls reads?
Well, if you're into vampire novels,
Okay.
The Blue Blood series by Melissa de la Cruz has some key scenes set at Niagara Falls.
Oh, that's interesting. It's like a blend of history, romance, and the supernatural.
Exactly. It's a fun read.
Okay, noted. And what about music? Any Niagara Falls anthem?
Not really a specific anthem, but the falls have been used as a metaphor in lots of songs.
Oh yeah, like songs about love and loss and the power of nature.
Exactly. It's that feeling of being swept away by something bigger than yourself.
I get it. It's a powerful image.
And Niagara Falls is definitely a powerful place.
Speaking of powerful, Niagara Falls has also played a role in some pretty important historical events.
Oh yeah, like the Underground Railroad?
Right. Niagara Falls was a major destination for escaped slaves seeking freedom in Canada.
It was a risky journey, but for many, it was the only way to escape oppression.
It's a reminder that Niagara Falls is more than just a beautiful place. It's a place with a deep and meaningful history.
And a place that has witnessed both great triumphs and great tragedies.
And speaking of triumphs and tragedies, Niagara Falls has also attracted its fair share of daredevils over the years.
Oh yeah, those stories are legendary.
Like Annie Edson Taylor, the school teacher who went over the falls in a barrel.
In a barrel.
Yeah, and she
It's
survived.
crazy what people will do for fame or fortune.
Or maybe she was just an adrenaline junkie.
Maybe. And then there's Nick Walenda, the tightrope walker who crossed the gorge right above the falls.
On a tightrope.
Yeah, it was insane. People were on the edge of their seats watching that.
I bet. It's like a mix of amazement and terror.
Exactly. These daredevils, they risk their lives to achieve the impossible.
And they add another layer of intrigue to the Niagara Falls story.
For sure. It's a place that continues to capture our imagination.
Well, I think it's safe to say that Niagara Falls is more than just a destination.
It's an experience.
A journey of discovery, adventure, and wonder.
It's a place that challenges our perceptions, inspires our dreams, and reminds us of the power and beauty of the natural world.
And I think we've done a pretty good job of capturing that in our deep dive today.
I think so too. We've covered a lot of ground.
From the thundering waters to the charming towns to the fascinating history and culture.
And all the delicious food and wine.
Oh yeah, can't forget about that.
So if you're looking for an unforgettable travel experience, Niagara Falls should be at the top of your list.
And we hope our deep dive has inspired you to start planning your own Niagara Falls adventure.
Remember, there's something for everyone at Niagara Falls. Whether you're a nature lover, a history buff, a foodie, or an adrenaline junkie.
And who knows, maybe you'll even be inspired to try some ice wine or go over the falls in a barrel.
Just kidding, don't try that last one.
Seriously, folks, safety first. But we do encourage you to explore everything Niagara Falls has to offer.
And be sure to share your experiences with us on social media.
We'd love to hear about your adventures. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more insightful deep dives into the world's most fascinating places.
Thanks for joining us on this Niagara Falls journey.
Until next time, happy travels, everyone.